What happens when you take a card-based battle system and make it a roguelite? You get a game that already exists. But what if you then add a sanity system to the battles? That actually already exists too. But what if we take all of that and then make it anime? We get Chaos Zero Nightmare, or CZN for short, a card-based roguelike developed by Smilegate, the company behind Epic 7, that will have you putting together your team of anime guys and gals to take on eldritch horrors in turn-based strategy battles. I was lucky enough to get to take part in the closed beta test, so I'll be sharing what I've learned about the game's premise, gameplay mechanics, gacha, and lastly my final thoughts so that you know what you can be looking forward to for the full release. Aesthetically and conceptually, if you're familiar with games like Slay the Spire and Darkest Dungeon, you should actually feel right at home as you're building up your ragtag team to overcome the RNG gods to take on actual gods without losing their minds. To give a little background to the what you're doing and why, the Earth was destroyed by a mysterious force called Chaos, which manifests as a kind of black fog that twists everything it touches into nightmarish beings. You yourself play as the captain of the SS Nightmare, a crew equipped with new technology whose goal is to infiltrate planets already consumed by chaos, conquer them, and make them hospitable for humanity. Thankfully, part of what makes you as the player so special is that you've been given a serum that makes you immune to the effects of chaos. So, the story mode will have you leading your team to various worlds in order to seek out a method to kill chaos. Battles start out with you drawing 5 cards that each have a cost indicated on the card. Each card represents an action or ability one of your units can take, and each action taken will both consume that number of energy and also decrease the turn counter over the enemy's head. Once that counter reaches 0, either by you taking that many actions or ending your turn, the enemy's turn will begin. Furthermore, as you use your character's cards, you'll slowly build up EP or ego points that can be used to cast your unit's ultimate abilities or ego skills. However, as battles progress, you not only have to worry about your team's HP bars, but also their stress. The purple bar under their health represents that unit's stress, which accumulates over a battle as they take damage or through the effects of enemy skills. Once the bar is completely filled, your unit will enter the mental breakdown state. This state differs depending on the unit, and in a nice touch, each unit has a different cutscene to also represent those differences. Entering the mental breakdown state will cause your overall team's HP to drop and also cause your deck to now draw these stress relief cards. As a baseline, those cards will cost 1 energy and you'll need to use 5 in order to fully restore that unit from the breakdown state. If you're able to recover from the breakdown state, that unit's ultimate or ego skills will be much cheaper to use, enabling you to swing back at the enemy much harder. The game currently features 2 modes, the first being the stage-based story mode where you'll be exploring the world and lore of CZN, while the second is where the magic happens, a roguelite dungeon crawler dubbed Chaos Missions. The roguelite aspect of this mode borrows inspiration from games like Slay the Spire. As you progress through the run, you'll be upgrading the cards in the deck as well as acquiring new ones to unlock more powerful combinations in battle. The runs also contain randomized events that can either help or hinder your run by providing you with powerful equipment pieces for your units. Lastly, you'll also have the opportunity to acquire more traditional roguelite upgrades through the Fate system during your runs as well. All of this comes together in a really satisfying way that genuinely scratches that roguelite itch. For instance, in one of my early runs, I noticed my unit Tressa's base deck had some cards that applied a kind of bleed debuff called Agony. Throughout the run, I was able to acquire cards and equipment to help me apply even more stacks of Agony and powerful cards that could pop the Agony stacks to apply massive bursts of damage. Then, after you've completed a run of Chaos Missions, your character's growth and progress will be stored as save data that can be used in the story mode in any form of event or instance battles. As such, not only is Chaos Mission likely the point of interest for a lot of players, it's also designed to be the mode that players farm for progress on their accounts. Also, in typical gacha game fashion, you have a stamina system that you can spend on instance battles that can provide you with the resources you'll need to upgrade your units. Speaking of unit upgrades, unit progression comes in a few different ways. Naturally, you have their level. You also have what's called a partner card that you can kind of think of as their weapon. They provide bonus stats to your combatants, they give further bonuses if the class type matches the combatant, and they can even provide an additional ego skill to use in battle. Combatants also have a potential tree that you can progress to provide bonus features to their skills as well as upgrades to their base stats. And lastly, we have their ego, which is upgraded by obtaining duplicates of the characters. The usual gacha fare. Lastly, there's the Arc City, a multi multifaceted hub where you have a pseudo manager sim to play through where you'll be assigned goals you have to reach in a certain number of turns. In order to raise your stats to the level they need to be at, you'll assign combatants that will bring you policies you can decide between that will have pros and cons. By interacting with the policies they introduce, you can grow your affinity with that combatant, which can reward you with crystals, the Gacha currency, as well as increasing your combatant's base stats. Their affinity can also be grown by going on excursions, which are like mini visual novel events, giving them gifts, and healing their psychological traumas through counseling. Once you're done spending time with your combatants, Arc City also provides a number of useful amenities such as a coffee shop to provide you with bonus daily stamina, a restaurant to provide food buffs, and a research center to provide bonuses to your account such as new Protoss skills. Now, one thing to also touch on is the fact that this is indeed a gacha game. So to quickly cover the gacha mechanics here, starting out, the game offers 6 banners. A beginner banner that lasts for 50 pulls, regardless of if you pull the 5-star early, 2 limited banners, one for the combatant or characters that you use in battle, and one for the limited partner banner, which functionally is like a weapon that the character equips. If you've played Honkai Star Rail, these are like the light cones. Then there are the standard banner versions of the combatant and partner banners, and lastly, we have the prism banner, which functions as a cosmetic banner for your character's cards and actions. The banners have a 1% 5-star rate with a hard pity of 70 and a soft pity that starts to build at 58. Each pull after 57 adds an additional 4.5% pull rate. Unfortunately, this game does have a 50-50 system for the limited banners, so if you lose that 50-50 and pull a standard instead, your next 5-star is then guaranteed to be the limited 5-star. All in all, CZN is surprisingly fleshed out with not just its roguelite offerings, but also in the variety of systems players will be able to use to increase the power of their units. Furthermore, without really going into spoiler territory, I was genuinely enjoying the story beats they provided so far. The animations and visuals for the characters are crisp, and the voice acting has been stellar so far. The gameplay, especially the roguelike dungeons, were surprisingly deep, and even as I'm writing the script, I want to dive back in to see how more characters can be built to tackle the challenges. The only point of contention I could really see is that nobody really loves a 50-50 gacha system, but granted this is a closed beta, things could potentially still change, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Either way, I'm definitely looking forward to the full release, and I think anyone that has this game on their radar will be in for a real treat once that launch hits. With that being said, that's all for this first impression of Chaos Zero Nightmare. Thank you so much for watching, subscribe for more gacha and MMO news, and let me know in the comments if there are any other games I should keep a lookout for. Most importantly, have a blessed day.